it's hard. I mean, I find myself, I get probably more frustrated with most about people rejecting the truth. But if I'm just being honest, the only reason why I understand is by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And so it ain't like it's because I'm getting something right or my much studying. And then I realized when I stop and think about it, you know what? Those are some complicated sounding scriptures. I mean, people discount, most people in the church, especially in the American church, we don't study the historicity of the letters that were written,
right,
or the cultural significance, because we've kind of counted that as dung, right? But the cultural significance of the Apostle Paul and the depth and the profoundness of what he wrote and what's actually there is otherworldly. It is mind-boggling. It is, I mean, you can't stop using adjectives to describe. Just looking at Romans, the work of what he has there on a philosophical level, on a spiritual level, on every level, you cannot even begin to, wrap your brain around everything that was said there, right? And the depth that it goes to, right? And I mean, it's actually the kind of a thing where I think there's layers there that were actually meant to speak to different generations in the church. For instance, there's things Paul wrote there that have such a depth that maybe it was going to take 1,500 years after that first generation for people to actually see. Like maybe he wrote something specifically there in mind of what the Holy Spirit was going to lead the church into 1,500 years from now. Right? I mean, and people forget. And if you go and study culturalism and historicity from an academia standpoint, Paul would be considered the person that shaped pretty much the whole world's thought. They would consider the Pauline letters to have shaped all Western thought and society, and then much of Eastern, they would say. That his letters shaped all of that, right? That he flipped the world upside down. Now, we all know it's not Paul because we know it's God and Jesus. They're actually the ones that did it. Paul was just talking about what they did. But from an academia standpoint, Paul is more involved in even just what we see in our society than we can even fathom. Right? Just the way the thing works. And so it should be no surprise that people that aren't gifted from the Holy Spirit to interpret that can't interpret it.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God tells me all the time, Greg, is it really that surprising? Go and read that. Is it really that shocking that they can't read that and get it right? Right?
And you can almost bet that the way the majority of the world would view that thing is probably the wrong way to view it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because listen, if it takes the Spirit to reveal truth, and everybody's just getting it by their own mentality and reasoning, it ain't the truth. Because it takes the Spirit to reveal the truth.
Yeah.